Okay guys, hear me out, don't kill me. I definitely have some explaining that I need to do. I'm gonna let you guys know that the intro to this video is going to be pretty long. So if you wanna get to the topic of this video, which is going to be the title, why you should look into becoming a sales rep if you grew up poor, just click on this timestamp. So you guys probably have noticed I haven't been able to post for the past few months on this channel, despite the fact that my banner says post every single Wednesday, and I said it was going to be a commitment that I was going to actually follow through with. So here's the reality of the situation. So YouTube, this is a hobby of mine, and I love doing this. This is something I will always fit into my life when I can do it. But a few months ago, I was able to get a job that for me would give me life-changing money. So when that job came about, when I actually took it and I switched into this new sales position, what I decided to do was put everything on hold, including part of my fitness, part of my ACL recovery, part of my relationship, to make sure that I could be the best version of myself at that job. And it completely took over my life since the last time I posted a YouTube video. Now, I know a lot of people might hear that and go, that's too obsessive, that's not the right way to do it. But for me, this is a one in a lifetime opportunity that I feel like I've been prepping for my entire life, and I did not want to mess that up. Now, the real question is, what is this channel going to be? As you can see, I stay in hotels the majority of the nights of the week, and I was thinking, what could I turn this channel into? Now, I'm also a large consumer of YouTube videos, and somebody that I love is Ryan Serhant. What he decided to do, he's in sales, I'm in sales, real estate is still sales, just in case anybody didn't make that connection. And he wanted to build a personal brand through his YouTube videos. And that's kind of where my head is at. I'm in the aesthetics industry. I won't give away too much of my personal information. However, I do want to kind of become the version of Ryan Serhant for this industry. I want to give tips on how to open up an aesthetics business, on why some doctors should take over it. But for you guys, that still means I have to talk about personal finance. It still means I have to talk about selling tips. Now, if that's something you think you'll be interested in, please stay subscribed, right? I might lose subscribers from this video, but I also might gain some. I have to figure out how is this going to work into my life, and that is where my head is at. I think I'm going to give tips. I cannot take it out of me to try to help people get out of poverty. But after you get out of poverty, which I've done, which I'm at, there has to be more. There has to be more. And that's what I want this channel to be. What can you grow into after you've checked that box? And along the way, I'll explain how you get to the position that I find myself at right now. I'm going to explain this more video after video. I'm trying to do at least one video, one short a week. But to be frank with you guys, I cover 2 states. I work 12-hour days for the most part. And I love what I do. It doesn't really feel like work, but I still have to manage my relationship, manage my fitness in these YouTube videos and these YouTube channels. I'm going to get it done. I just have to figure out the exact ways to do it before I make that commitment of 2 videos a week, 1 video a week. But once I do make that commitment, we're going to see that through this time. There's absolutely no reason not to. I have the funds to take care of it. This benefits my current job as well as benefiting me directly, and it benefits you guys. So that being said, let's get into the topic of today's video. And that is, if you were like me and you grew up poor, why you should genuinely look at sales as a really good career opportunity. Now, before I tell you why you should look into sales, I think I should have to explain what sales actually is. So here's what a good sales rep actually is. A good sales rep is a middleman from a problem and a solution. Okay, that is all a sales rep is at its core. That is all being a sales rep is to its core. You find a clientele with a problem and then you connect them with your solution. Keep in mind though that jobs are listed by the solution. So you're gonna get a job, you're gonna find a way to become a sales rep, and you're gonna carry a service or a product. And your job as a sales rep is to look around and figure out who has a problem that can be solved by your product or service. And I know the context of sales reps, especially the way you see it in movies, especially if you have somebody who ran into a bad person who's also a rep. That is somebody who convinces you that you have a problem that doesn't actually exist, or they fear you into missing a good deal. There are bad sales techniques out there, but there's also a vast majority of the reps that I've run into are good people just trying to give somebody with an actual problem a solution. So for example, I went to Best Buy. I got a mic that I'm using right now because I was explaining that I want something to go on top of my camera where I'm not plugging and playing. And the sales rep sold me this Rode VideoMic Pro to shoot this actual video. I had a genuine problem, he had a genuine solution, and he gets commission on that. That's how sales is supposed to work at its core. But why should you go into sales if you grew up poor? So here's the benefit of sales. If you grew up poor, that means you've never really had a safety net in your life. You're not used to it. It's something that you want to chase, but a lot of times you're going to overshoot it. So for example, I'll use me. When I was growing up, I wasn't always sure where my next meal was going to come from. That makes me think in two ways. I never want to experience this again, but in order to do so, I have to be so good, make so much money, that's never even a question. I don't want to tinker. I don't want to be 20% above it or 30% above that threshold. I want to be 5 to 10x, never having to think about that problem ever again in my life. Also, the benefit of a sales rep, because you never know when your next paycheck is coming. Now, sometimes you do have a salary, but the majority of your pay should be coming through your commissions. You are already used and prepped to living in that stressful environment, right? More of that uncertain environment. And you're already hormonally preset to perform under those conditions because you've been doing it your entire life. So one of the biggest differences between sales and a standard 9-to-5 job, right? The main reason why you should go into sales. And I was thinking about this on the way up here when I was driving up here. A lot of my friends, and I want to preface this is not a jealousy thing, but a lot of my friends were ahead of me for the first 3 to 4 years out of college because they had some generational wealth, because their parents could help them out here, or because when they graduated college, they were at zero debt or already had a car. They didn't have to figure out how to buy a car. They didn't have to figure out to pay off their student loans. And you guys, if you follow me, know that that took up the majority of my income for a year or two after college. So all of that is to say is that I have to play catch up, right? Because there's an individual's net worth, like there's my net worth. But let's say I had parents and those parents passed away, most likely their net worth would be passed down to me. So at the end of my life, if I didn't have parents versus my friend's life, I now have to make up what they do and what their generational wealth will be passed on to them so my kids are caught up, right? And that is really my goal. And the only way to do that realistically is to make a lot of money. And when I say a lot, I mean you need an untapped potential of money. Right? And that is where sales comes into play. You can work your ass off at a 9-to-5. And you might get promoted, right? And you're going to develop skills and you can make good money. But the sales rep who's just as good at his job, who's working his ass off just as hard, makes 3 to 4 times as much money because they're extremely valuable to a business. A Rode VideoMic means nothing if you can't connect it to the person who's going to buy it. There's a market out there, but you have to get somebody to the market, right? And there's plenty of different ways to do it, but the most effective way is a very, very good, very well-tailored sales force. And that is why, if you're a part of it, it's very lucrative for you financially. That being said, it is a hard job. So think about any other job. You basically go to work, you have a few things you need to do, but after 2 weeks, you pretty much know how to do your job. As a sales rep, that never works. Every single person's different. Every single deal is different. As a sales rep, you have to have a firm grasp on marketing, on how to get a funnel of potential clients, on how to explain your product to those clients. You have to be a product specialist, on how to get your clients on the same page as you for the problem that they might have and how your product can be a solution, and then you have to build value into that product, value into that solution, so they actually give you money for it. And then you don't get all that money, you get a cut of that money. But if you learn how to do that, if you learn how to be the best version of yourself at that, you're gonna most likely make more money than if you picked a different career. For example, so if you look at tech sales, I don't do tech sales, I'm medical device sales, and I'll explain what my day-to-day is like in a future video. But if you're in tech sales, the guys who code the apps make really good money. A lot of them make $100,000 coming out of college, right? But big asterisk here, the top sales rep probably makes 10x that at each company. The #1 account executive probably makes north of $1 million. And that's for a reason, because it doesn't matter what you build if nobody's willing to pay you a large amount of money for it. And that's just how the world works. I wish it didn't work that way, but that's how it works. I know this video has been me ranting, but it's 10:30 at night, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to post for you guys. So if you are interested in me talking about sales, me talking about finance, me talking about where I live in Atlanta, how aesthetics comes into play with my life and everything that comes into that sphere, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Should be next week, and I'll probably post a short in between the two. Thank you guys.